This is not clickbait, this really is a Louis Vuitton bag for $10. Hi and very welcome! My name is Mary, this is my channel Lumi Level Up and I'm a luxury lover on an average income trying to be more mindful with my money. Super Dacob started a tag to show our favorite cheap luxury designer bags. Unfortunately, I didn't get nominated by himself, because he has no idea of my existence yet. Maybe we can change that by joining this tag, because he had the sweetest words for everyone he tagged and the channels he mentioned. So I would be honored to be recognized and maybe mentioned by him one day as well. If you don't know Super Dacob, which would be quite hard for me to imagine, he is an expert on fragrances and especially on Chanel, even though he doesn't consider himself as an expert. He does incredible lives. I mean, how can someone be so entertaining just spontaneously? I would be stumbling for words 30 minutes straight. To be honest, sometimes I'm even stumbling in my prepared videos, so... And he is sassy. I love that he's not afraid to critically speak up. Sometimes very cynical. I wish he would watch my Chanel advent calendar rant one day, because to me that might be one of the best videos I made so far. And I think he could enjoy it as well, even though, of course, Lord behold, I did not buy that scam of an advent calendar. Just in case anyone got curious, I'm going to link that video for you down in the description box. Many YouTubers, once they reach a certain subscriber count, they get very cookie cutter nice, because they don't want to risk any sponsorships. And all they present is happy rainbow unicorn clouds, because that's what the advertisers pay the most money for. But not Dacob, he tends to be very cynical from time to time, always only against huge companies that can take it to be mocked by an individual guy on the internet. He covers a lot of luxury community gossip as well, but always in a respectful way towards the individual. So if you don't know Dacob yet, make sure to check him out. His channel is linked down in the description box. By the time I'm filming this video, I got tagged by two of my lovely YouTube friends, but since both of them tagged some more of my YouTube friends, it might happen that by the time this video launches, I got tagged more often. And of course, I will try to keep my description box updated with all the tags. The ones I already know of are my friend Ash Deluxe and the Handbag Housewife. So of course, their channels are already to be found in the description box. Fun fact, what I don't like too much about these tag videos is that the introduction part always gets that long until you finally have put out all the initial informations and you can really get it started. But we nearly made it. So, the initial Super Dacob tag asked for our favorite cheap luxury bags. So, leaving the Chanel and the Hermes in the cupboards. But with the eyes of a snob, I don't know how much you will be able to see, I think one could say all of my handbags are cheap luxury bags. I always tell you in my intro that I am on an average income and I cannot just spend thousands and thousands on handbags all the time, even if I would like to. I have quite many Louis Vuitton pieces, canvas as well as leather ones, but most of them are not these high-ticket bags like the Twists and the Capucines and the Petite Mals. And most of my handbags actually were under the 1,000 euro mark, or at least they were under it back when I bought them, because that's what I'm okay to spend on a bag. If I'm really crazy in love, I might go up until about 2,000 euro every once in a while, but then I really have to fall head over heels and it has to be something I see holding its value long terms, nothing super trendy from a brand that does go on sale or has outlets. And only twice in my life by now I went above that magical 2K mark for both of my Chanel Classic flaps, which both for me turned out to not give me more joy than my under 1K bags. So I don't think I want to do that again anytime soon. But you see, in terms of the luxury community, actually most of my bags could be considered cheap luxury bags. A oxymoron by itself. Quite some pieces in my collection are Louis Vuitton, which for some snobby people to begin with is not even top tier luxury like Chanel and Hermes. But that's why picking a favorite cheap luxury bag would be super tricky for me, because I could show you nearly my entire collection. And that's why I wanted to give this tag a twist, and I will show you my actually, literally, cheapest luxury designer handbag. Which happens to be this Louis Vuitton vintage Double Rabat that I bought for incredible €10. I'm not kidding, I'm not lying, this is not clickbait. I'm going to tell you the entire story in a second. So, Dacob's initial tag to show our favorite cheap luxury bags might turn into a story time on my actually cheapest luxury bag. I did put $10 in the thumbnail and the title, because most of my viewers do live in the US and that way it sounds more internationally appealing. To be concrete, it were €10, which translates to $11 and a few cents, depending on the exact exchange rate. Today, the day I'm filming, it were $11 and 12 cents. But I think we all agree that we don't have to discuss about $1 more or less on a Louis Vuitton bag. If you've been on my channel for a while, you might know that I drop flea market content every now and then, because I'm just the biggest flea market fan. I love secondhand, I love vintage, and I love to hunt for bargains. I've been visiting flea markets literally for decades. Yes, I've already done it as a kid. I went there and bought Barbies and Polly Pockets with my pocket money. And with my interest and love for luxury designer goods growing, my eye to hunt for these bargains at the flea market got better and better as well. Of course, you don't find a designer gem every time. The really good finds, they are rare. But if you go nearly every weekend, every other time, you will find a gem. And over the years I accumulated quite some incredible vintage designer pieces from the flea market for mind-blowing prices. And one of them happens to be this Louis Vuitton Double Rabat vintage bag with hooks for a shoulder strap, and I'm just the luckiest girl because mine even came with a matching canvas crossbody strap that we will take off for a second now so it doesn't get in our way while we take a closer look at this bag. So this bag is two-faced. The two faces are nearly the same, it's just that one has a golden button and the other side has a brown button, which mine has a scratch, but who would mind for €10? And between these two faces there is another compartment where I can easily slide my phone into. Unfortunately, some Louis Vuitton vintage pieces do have a lining that didn't age too well. And this bag is one of the pieces affected. It is not this structured cowhide, but the other side. I'm not sure if I will be able to really show you. No, probably not. So on the other side there was used a material which peels off and gets sticky over time. It's a pity for sure, but there are quite some vintage Louis Vuitton bags that are just known for to have that issue. Oftentimes it's just a side pocket, like on the Trocadero. There, this front pocket is sticky, and inside of the bag there is a separate zip compartment, which you cannot even open anymore, because underneath everything got sticky and even the zipper sticks to the back of the bag. This is my mom's bag. I just borrowed it for this video, and I know for a fact that this bag is authentic. So it was quite easy for me to compare the sticky issues on her bag to be comfortable with the sticky issues on my bag. On her, it's really not that much of a big deal, because it is just this front pocket and the side pocket, and she just doesn't use these separate pockets, so it doesn't bother her at all. On mine, unfortunately, it is way worse, because both sides do have two compartments. And both compartments are lined with that sticky material on one of the sides. So every space in that bag, except this little middle compartment, is affected. But yet again, I paid €10 for it. I was considering to get the interior exchanged by Louis Vuitton, and for sure I want to do that one day. I plan to do so since years. But I want to do it in store, even though they do offer online repairs now, but I've never tried that before. And whenever I was close to a boutique, of course I just forgot to bring this bag with me. But one day I will. Make a guess, what will happen sooner? That I bring this bag to Louis Vuitton to get it fixed, or that Super Dacob will mention me in one of his videos? So, even though the sticky compartments inside of that bag are a huge pity, in my case it was my luck as well. Because they made the seller think that this is an inauthentic bag. Or at least it was one of the reasons, therefore. Little background story. So I bought this bag from the flea market. The sellers were two young ladies, maybe 18, maybe in their very early 20s. And I'm quite sure this bag wasn't purchased from them. Other than this bag and another designer bag I'm going to tell you about in a moment. So besides the two bags, they only were selling fast fashion. H&M, Forever 21, some Zara. And I don't know where exactly they got these bags from. Maybe from their grandma? That's a quite common way how I can score the best designer bargains. Someone inherited a piece or got it handed down. Sometimes even without knowing that it is designer or what it is actually worth. In this case, they knew Louis Vuitton and they knew that there is quite some worth to that brand. Because they had another Louis Vuitton bag. A vintage Sac Noir. Not this one. This is my birth year bag that I bought from a friend of my mom. If you want to find out more about that one, I do have a complete video about the whole backstory of this bag. So, of course, it will be linked for you. Their Sac Noir literally was the most nasty, so much used that I have ever seen. I think most of us have seen this bag in quite poor condition before, because especially the leather on the bottom is drawn to show use super quick. But their Noir really paired everything on that bag that can show use. It had every imaginably wear and tear. The vachetta leather was super dark, had watermarks and stains. The corners were completely scuffed. The hardware oxidated. The leather overall was so old and dry that it got cracks all over. And the canvas had some cracks as well, which you might know is one of the criteria whether or not Louis Vuitton will accept a bag for repair. So since the canvas on that bag was cracked, it was not even worth considering for me to buy that bag and get the leather parts exchanged, because Louis Vuitton wouldn't do it. But of course I was interested in the price anyways, because I have seen DIY Louis Vuitton paper trash bins that have been crafted out of old Sac Noirs. So maybe for a few euro I would have given it a try and still bought it for some kind of DIY, even though it really was nasty. Imagine the worst condition Sac Noir you've ever seen and add yet another layer of use. If I remember it correctly, they asked for a price somewhere around 100 euro, which was not worth it to me in that terrible condition. But they told me it's an authentic Louis Vuitton bag, that this would be a very expensive brand, and that's why they asked for that price, even though it's not in that good condition anymore. And they even proudly showed me the data code, which is, in case you don't know, hidden under the handle. So they authenticated their Sac Noir, but then they showed me this bag and said they have another one and I could have it for 10 euro including the strap, because it would not be authentic. This model would not exist, it doesn't have a code, and it's poor quality because the interior is dissolving. Of course, the first moment someone tells you an item is inauthentic, it loses all its attraction. I don't support that, I don't want inauthentic items in my collection, but I had seen that style before. And I knew that the data code on Louis Vuitton pieces oftentimes is very hidden and hard to find. And I knew that the interior on some vintage pieces gets sticky on authentic Louis Vuitton bags. And since they did have an authentic Sac Noir, which might have come from the same source as the Double Rabat, and they clearly were no experts on Louis Vuitton, they might have done some research. They might have immediately found the Sac Noir, since it is a very popular and widespread Louis Vuitton bag. It is even still sold on the website, and maybe Google has shown them where to find the code, and then they were fine with that. But they couldn't find that bag online right away, because you don't see it that often. Even With knowing the name of that bag, Double Rabat, there's only a handful of them on the internet to be found. The Louis Vuitton stamp is quite worn off on that very structured leather, and the data code is so hidden, hard to find and read, that they must have assumed there is not even one, and therefore they assumed this bag is inauthentic. Mind you, all of this took place years ago when getting luxury items authenticated was not already that much of a thing and widespread. And even the YouTube community on that topic did not already provide that much in-depth information, as it might today. Of course, I couldn't tell right away either if this was an authentic item, because on the flea market, unfortunately, there is quite a high chance to stumble upon fakes as well. But my gut feeling very strongly told me, give it a shot. It's only 10 euro. Worst case, my gut feeling is deceiving me and I wasted the money for 10 cheeseburgers. Best case, my gut feeling is right and I ended up with an authentic Louis Vuitton gem. For incredible 10 euro, including a shoulder strap. To this day, I did not get professionally authenticated this bag, because in this case it somewhat feels like a waste of money to me, because I don't plan to sell this bag and I plan to get it repaired at Louis Vuitton. And of course they will only accept it if it is authentic, so I'll get my professional authentication sneaked for free. But to be honest, I'm already certain it is authentic. Of course I did a lot of research on that bag once I got it, and everything matches up. The canvas compared to my authentic canvas pieces, the structured leather lining compared to the authentic structured leather, the sticky parts compared to the sticky parts on my mom's bag. Every stitch is perfect. Everywhere. Even in between these compartments. That's more than you can expect from Louis Vuitton nowadays. I did find the data code as well, which is hidden in a side pocket, but unfortunately it's so hard to take a picture of it. Nearly impossible to photograph. But it matches the location made in France. And the time frame when this bag was made, 1990. So it's yet another birth year bag for me. The only thing that got me wondering at first is that these snap buttons, let me show you up close, they have Fiocchi Italy engraved, which from the first impression didn't sit too right with me, because Louis Vuitton buttons nowadays of course have Louis Vuitton engraved. But with a little research I found out that from around the 70s to especially the 80s and early 90s, Fiocchi did produce the buttons for many luxury designer brands, for example Chanel and Louis Vuitton. And inside there are even, maybe I will insert you pictures, there are little studs that attach the both sides together, and they do have a Louis Vuitton engraving. Additional to every little detail on this bag being perfect quality. This is not a popular widespread style. I don't think the replica industry back in the 90s was already as good as it might be today. And I don't think this style of bag would have been the one they would have chosen to put all their craftsmanship into. Because yet again, it never was the most popular bag. And to this day, most people would not even know of the existence of that style, Double Rabat. I think the shoulder strap got exchanged somewhat later, because this bag initially came with one with a shoulder pad and the most ugly clasps. The strap as well, I compared it to the ones I own from my bags, and everything on it is perfect. The symmetry, the stitches, the engraving. What shall I say? I'm the luckiest girl that I got a vintage Louis Vuitton bag, a birth year clutch, including the matching canvas shoulder strap for 10 euro. Mind-blowing. So for sure, this is my cheapest luxury bag, literally. A Louis Vuitton bag for 10 euro. If I got you curious for flea markets, consider subscribing and stick around for a little bit longer, because I vlogged the last time I went to a flea market, and that will be my next video or one of the next videos. To already spoil it a little bit, it will include Louis Vuitton, Fendi and a haul. So thank you so much for watching, hope to see you next time, and bye! Where I can... There. In case anyone was wondering, my sweater says ketchup. And I don't even like ketchup. It's too sweet for my liking. But I like that hoodie. I would recommend you to watch my TAG story time about my birth year bag, or my best designer flea market finds of 2021, which was not my best flea market year of all times, but it's fun to watch anyways.